Mr. Haq, the Houthis are accusing the United Nations of conniving with the Saudis for the landing that took place in Aden and the tanks which were offloaded from the ships. They were waiting for aid, and what they got is more weapons and militias coming in.
It's false that the United Nations was in any sort of arrangement with anyone to do anything other than to try to put a halt to the fighting. What the United Nations, including the envoy, Ismail Sheikh Ahmed, were working on was a humanitarian pause that we had hoped would last through the end of Ramadan. And we had, before declaring a pause, received assurances from all the parties that they were going to uphold a humanitarian pause. And these were assurances received not simply by Ismail Sheikh Ahmed, but received by the Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon himself. And we had received it from all the sides, from the government of Yemen, from the Houthis, from the General People's Congress, and from the Saudis as well. So we were...
So who reneged on that agreement in this case?
Well, you can see for yourself that that fighting went on by all sides. At this stage, we have expressed repeatedly the Secretary General's disappointment that the parties did not live up to their commitments. But these were assurances that he had received, and the parties themselves did not live up to those commitments. And it's a matter of a huge disappointment. And for our part, we will continue to try to see what we can do to get the fighting to stop.
What is your comment regarding this landing of tanks and heavy, and also the intensive bombardment right after the declaration of the truce?
We have been very disappointed by the fact that rather than going down, the fighting actually went up. Our office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights has said that at least 165 civilians were killed between the 3rd and the 15th of July. So just in the span of time when we had hoped that there would be a humanitarian pause, there was fresh killings of civilians, including of women and children, and it's a matter of great concern to us.
Have you been able to offload any aid in Hodeidah, for example? Because most of the aid now is going to Aden and Breika and that area.
We're trying to get aid to wherever there are people in need. For the first time today, the World Food Programme was able to dock a ship in Aden, and this was the first time basically in 4 months. And so we're getting a little bit of progress after waiting very patiently, and we're trying to do as much as we can to get the aid to go out everywhere, to all people in need.
So it will not be only for Aden governorate?
Yeah, not just for Aden, but for everywhere that we can get to.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.